Hello folks, Phil Gallagher here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Hyperlink, who gave me a dealer's choice donation deck list. Now, yesterday, I think it was yesterday for you all anyway, I played a match against this Winota Joiner of Forces deck, and I absolutely got destroyed. And I messaged the user, I don't remember their exact Magic Online user. It's Averse something on Magic Online, and they're Averse_far on Twitter. And I said, hey, will you send me this deck list? I want to play it for my channel. And it turns out they were a Japanese player and a fan of the channel, and they were very happy to send it along. Where do I start with this beautiful deck list? There's a lot going on. So we are essentially a red-white aggro deck built around Winota, and I guess I should read that. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn, and then you put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So we have to have a mixture of humans and non-humans in this deck. And if you're familiar with the creature suite of both Death and Taxes and Legacy like Moon Stompy or Red Prison, then you're familiar with most of the things in this deck except Commander Staple, Godo Bandit Warlord. So this has sort of a Stoneforge Mystic like ability. You search for an equipment card, but you put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Now the cool thing here is when this attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. So Godo gets to hit multiple times with whatever piece of equipment you have it equipped with. And hypothetically, if that piece of equipment were Helm of the Host, things get a little complicated. Okay, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature. Except the token isn't legendary if equipped creature is legendary. That token gains haste. So, Godo makes extra combat steps for samurais, right? And itself. Now, Godo is going to go to combat, make another Godo from the Helm, and you are essentially going to end up with infinite combats where Godo and your copies of Godo get to just keep crashing in. So we do have a weird sort of infinite combo available in this deck. And the thing is, since Godo just puts something directly into play, that's also just a way to tutor for Cauldron Complete and put that into play, and this card is a major pain in the butt to deal with. So the supporting cast here for the Winota combo to dump things like Godo into play is the Death and Taxes package of like Stoneforge Mystic Thalia, Spirit of the Labyrinth, and the Red Prison package of Goblin Rabblemaster, Legion Warboss, and Magus of the Moon. In addition to Vintage All-Star Archon of Emeria, which has seen a little bit of play as a Death and Taxes flex slot, but more play in white Stompy decks. The sideboard of a Chalice of the Void deck often has to be built in interesting ways, so you don't have a lot of 1-drops, and hence we are going to remove a like Declaration of Stone for the sideboard slots here. Winds of Abandon is another card that I have played in this same slot before to similar effect. There are boils here to deal with the island-based decks. I know Averse had said something along the lines of they're not sure if the boils are actually good enough or if this should be some other like anti-blue deck card. But I like a lot of what's here, and Solitude can be a removal spell that you can cast through a Chalice easily as well. I am super excited to see this deck in action. It absolutely steamrolled me, so if we can have a couple of rounds where we do the thing, that would make me really happy. Anyway, if this is your first time on the channel, please consider throwing me a subscription if you want to see modern, legacy, and vintage content 5 days a week. And if you're a regular, throw me a like. If you want to try this one out or get one of your own decks on the channel, that information is always available in the video description. Let's battle. I will absolutely be keeping this hand. This hand has turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Archon, turn 3 Uncounterable Winota. Or I can turn 2 Archon if I feel like that's something that's going to be important. Ah, I see you also would like to live the Chalice of the Void life. Ooh, that's actually something I don't want to draw. I believe I will go ahead and cast a Chalice for 0. And from there, I believe I am going to play out an Arid Mesa. So that if I decide I want to fetch basic planes in response to, say, a Blood Moon or Blood Sun or Sorceress Spyglass, I have the ability to do so. Ooh, it is straight up Eldrazi. I have not seen this deck in Legacy in months. Welcome back. Ooh, they are going for an Eldrazi Temple. Okay, so this just means that they have some more lands. All right, now that I know I don't have to play around Blood Moon, and I'll already be exposed to Wasteland, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a Plateau and then my deck of a land. This Ancient Tomb is actually just, like, devastatingly good here, since it allows me to accelerate into the Archon, and now this means that my opponent's lands are going to enter tapped, which is cool. The Archon also has Evasion, so I get to play Winota next turn uncounterably, and then attack in with the Archon, and this is also just a 4/4? I'm in good shape. Ooh. Dismember is some sauce. I'll just take 2 here, go to 15. I'll have an upcoming Batter Skull, so that's good news. This is also just a 4/4. Alright, let's go Plains into Winota. Oop. Gotta tap my mana the other way. So I will have Winota into Batter Skull. So I should have the ground pretty locked up. A Reality Smasher would be bad here. I would take 10 damage this turn. I'm getting Thought Knotted? I am getting Thought Knotted. I'll lose a Batter Skull. Oh, I lost the Cauldra. Wow. I'm surprised. Am I blocking? I think I'll block. I think if this game drags on, I'm in good shape. I'm just so surprised the Batter Skull didn't get taken. Maybe my opponent has another Dismember. We'll find out. Or maybe they just think, like, hey, I'll just trade this and then life will be good. I'm just hoping that, like, I can find another creature and re-equip Batter Skull or something. Or maybe Cauldra Complete is just unbeatable if the game goes long. I could see that as well. I mean, I'm trading here, in case you just play another larger creature post-combat. I also just get a new card. New Thought Knots here? Nope. Blue mana. Oh, this is probably just random. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you have a 5/5. I am good with that. Alright. So let's get our Rabble on. And we can send a Goblin token to its doom for the fun and amusement of my viewers. I will be holding up a Batter Skull bounce, but I'm more likely to just try and equip it to Goblin Rabble Master. We'll see. Like, things can happen. Alright, what do you have for me? How bad is it? 6 mana should be... Oh. Oh, that's unfortunate for me. That means I'm bouncing the Batter Skull. Alright, so... Karn is around. See what my opponent gets. Could be something like a Walking Ballista. Okay, they're just getting Liquid Metal Coating. It's not the end of the world. Do I just stop that with a Chalice on 2? A little awkward because, like, a Stoneforge Mystic would be a pretty respectable draw currently for me. I need to take a quick look at the deck list. Yeah, I might be able to get away with Chalice on 2. It's weird. I can use Cavernous Souls to force a 2-drop through. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good with this. This is a pretty elaborate game for what is basically an aggro mirror. I mean, rather a... Oh, right, I have to do that. Rather a prison mirror, a Stompy mirror. Really, the only true aggro deck running around Legacy right now is the Madness deck. At least at a, a competitive level. Oh, right. That makes sense. It does mean that Liquid Metal Coating is basically a Rishadan port this turn. That play was not nearly as good as I wanted it to be. I should have just played the Batter Skull. Batter Skull is just not great in the face of Karn, because, like, Karn pluses on it once, and then, like, it's just done. Godo. Godo puts a Batter Skull into play. I'm not at Godo levels of mana currently. Add on a human, and produce a Batter Skull. Goblin Rabble Master is not looking great in the face of the 5/5 here. We'll send the Goblin at Karn, but obviously it's gonna die just like before. It's super unfortunate that like we drew the Cauldron earlier, so that I can't just fish that out of the deck, because that would dominate this combat. That would absolutely get me through everything that's going on the other side of the battlefield. At any point, I can also just like draw a Winota and really pull ahead that way. Losing 2 lands is going to be rough, though. That means I can't just like cast a Godo. Alright, goodbye Ancient Tomb. Probably lose a Plateau here as well. Oh, I'm not. Oh, that would have been a great time to draw a land. I'm too small. Alright, I guess I'll just make a Thalia and call it a turn. Goodbye token. I could be getting more aggressive in trying to take out this Karn. I'm worried about a Mycosynth Lattice lockout, but I also think if I throw bodies away here, like, my opponent could turn the corner and become the aggro deck pretty much instantly. So, is this a minus for a Mycosynth Lattice? Are you going to be able to play around the Thalia attacks here? Or you have like a walking ballista to ping some of my stuff down or something? Where are we going? It is a walking ballista. Oh. New Karn is unexpected. Alright, so I'm going to lose another land here. Cavernous Souls. Winota would be cool. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of stuck here. Yeah, I don't think I get to attack, because if I attack, I just straight up, like, basically die to a Reality Smasher, right? That would be 15 incoming damage. Rough. Guess I could have fetched and played Chalice for 2. But that may be detrimental to me more than anything later on. Yup. And I can't concede here because I have some just absolutely insane top decks that can really put me over the line. Yup. We're gonna see the Ballista for 2 now. Looks like it. Okay. Guess I can always yield to these Mimics. Don't have any removal or anything. I also do sort of think my opponent should be going after my mana a little bit more aggressively, because keeping me off something like a Winota could be pretty important. I'm gonna thin my deck of a land here. I don't have many draws to get out of this spot. Mox is not good here. Again, I don't really think I can concede, but my situation is just getting worse and worse. Maybe I should just concede and conceal information about my deck. My opponent is blowing up a land every turn. You have the board stabilized. And as they draw something like a Reality Smasher, I'm taking an incoming attack for 20. Yeah, sure. Okay, I have basic wastes. That's good to know about, because I do have Blood Moon effects. You're just gonna get Mycosynth Lattice? Believe that is what's going to happen. Yep, okay. Yeah, that's fine. GG's. Alright, so I want the Declaration in Stones and the Solitudes here. I don't think I'll play the Disenchants. My 4 Chalice of the Voids come out, but then I'm going to need to take out one other card as well. Maybe the Helm of the Host. I'm pretty unlikely to fetch that out, since like Batterskull and Kaldra are so important to this matchup. I think that's what I'll do. I also think it's reasonable to cut or trim a Thalia. Yeah, this hand is fine. This hand has multiple Stoneforge Mystics. And we have multiple Batterskulls, which is sick. Oh no, I forgot to swap out my basic Plains art! No! If Magic Online didn't have so many bugs and such that need fixing, one of my most requested features would absolutely be default basic Plains art. My opponent's waiting to pay costs, so they've either got endless ones, probably endless ones, although it also could be Eldrazi Mimics, I guess. Yep. That's fine. Alright. Let's drop Stoneforge Mystic and pick up Kaldra. And we'll leave my opponent with this awful choice of, like, do I take the Kaldra or the Batterskull if they have a Thought-Knot Seer for this turn. Which they really need. Ooh, Yavimaya is a great upgrade for that deck. Actually, is it? Because they're playing Dismember, so that should probably be Urborg. Unless there's like a 1-1 split of each of them. which also would be good in different ways, because then you don't run into the legend rule issue. Yeah, I'll gladly take 2 damage. Okay. I have 4 mana, but I don't know that I can use more than 2 of it this turn, because I don't have 2 white for Stoneforge Activate and Stoneforge Equip. If my opponent has Dismember, I don't necessarily want to put Cauldron into play this turn. I could just straight up pass the turn and put Batterskull in at my opponent's end step. That might be the smartest way to play around a removal spell, and it kind of feels like my opponent has a Dismember. I don't necessarily want to get Cauldron dismembered immediately. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. A little strange, but it feels right to me. My opponent might have gotten huge value for a bluff there, but I don't think I need to expose myself to a removal spell unnecessarily early. Okay, that's a 4/4 endless one. That's fine. I expect to see no attacks. Great. Now, I'll go ahead and activate this. I think I put the Batterskull in, because there's a very good chance that I'll still put the Cauldron in anyway. Although I could just play Winota. Now I have 5 mana. I could go like Cauldron plus Legion Warboss. I could also go like put in Cauldron plus a new Stoneforge Mystic. Post-combat. I think I like that. Alright. There's Cauldron. I will ship in for 9. And next turn I'll play Winota and do absolutely disgusting things to the board. There's the first strike. There's the regular damage. Oh yeah. Don't even have to take damage for it. And now we get the wonderful moment of second Batterskull. What the fuck? It's a good life. I do wonder if I played around a Dismember. I may find out. I mean, I'm likely to find out in the next turn cycle. Alright, what do you have for me? A Karn. Sure. Okay. That's an Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. I didn't board in an answer to that, did I? Do I have anything in my main deck that answers that? No. I guess I just try to kill my opponent here. Go 4 mana Winota. Send everything at them and end up with 4 more other creatures attacking. Yeah, that probably works out most of the time. Alright. Could end up with 6 mana. I don't think I need to take damage here. Alright. Here's Winota. Let's send them in. Attack you with all creatures. Let's see what happens. These will be indestructible. Okay. That'll attack you. Second Winota. Okay, so there is a Winota here. I don't have another piece of equipment for Godo. So this is just a 3/3 attacker. I guess this thing being in combat and attacking is more optimal than the Godo. Although I could hit more Winotas later. And these are both of my Godos. Yeah, maybe I take a Godo with this for that reason. That'll attack you. Yeah, I have Batterskull, Cauldron, so no, I won't use that ability. Okay. Magus of the Moon is fine. Attacking you. Okay. No human with the final one. And then we'll let my opponent sort out combat. The good news here is that there's still a whole bunch of cards in my opponent's hand. I think they're still facing down lethal damage with blocks that look like that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Alright, so now because of Ensnaring Bridge, I probably need to board in these 2 disenchants to have an out to that. On the draw, maybe let's board out 2 Thalias for those. Alright, do I want the Helm of the Host back in because I ran out of equipment? Probably not. Like, I started on a double Stoneforge and also drew 2 pieces of equipment. I think I'm good. I could consider Abrades on the draw as removal spells. Actually, Abrade is just better than Disenchant here. Because Abrade can also kill the early Eldrazi. How many outs to bridge do I need? 2 might be fine. Like, I want to have outs to it in the deck, but I don't necessarily need to draw them in a timely fashion. They just need to exist. This hand is plenty good. I will happily keep this. This is turn 1 Stoneforge, turn 2 Kaldra, unless I get interrupted by Thought-Knot Seer. The second Chromox is not great here. Alright, what don't I want? Probably don't want the Spirit of the Labyrinth. Let's Chromox it up. Put that under... I guess I'll play a non-wastelandable land, although I don't think it matters too much. Grab Stoneforge, yes. Kaldra. It's possible Batterskull's better because, like, my opponent has shown me Dismembers. But Kaldra is cheating if it actually gets into play. Alright, it's not getting Thought-Knot Seared. That's good news. Alright, it is getting Dismembered. And what's the follow-up? Just another X2 creature? Oh, my opponent is still playing Chalice. I find that very surprising. They must think I have, like... No, I showed them Chalices in game 1. Yeah, this is surprising to me. Arid Mesa is not a particularly potent draw here. I'll play it to take a land out of my deck. I don't even really want to play this Thalia now that I have, like, Kaldra in hand. But it is what it is. Okay. Do I no longer have Kaldra in hand? No longer have Kaldra in hand. I'm just going to go ahead and fetch a land out of my deck now. I'll just grab the basic mountain. Or a basic mountain, rather. Alright, goodbye, Kaldra. Hello, a pair of 4/4s. I'm going to need some help from the top of the deck here. I am behind on board. Life totals are pretty similar since my opponent had an Ancient Tomb plus Dismember start. Yikes. Okay. Land go. I am pretty likely to just lose if my opponent has another follow-up creature, so they get a decent attack in with Eldrazi Mimic. Like if they have another Thought-Knot Seer or a an Endless one or something. Pretty bad for me. That's a Reality Smasher, isn't it? That's 14 incoming damage. Oh no, it's a Chalice on 2. That's not the best for me. Is this Thalia just going to chump block and save 4 life here? I think so, because if I specifically draw well, okay. So if I specifically draw Batterskull, I want the Thalia not in play. And if I specifically draw... Oh no, Winota wouldn't trigger with this because it's non-human. Alright, yeah, let's take the chump block and try to just, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Will Batterskull to the top of the deck. Oh my god. Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, and that's what we call playing to our outs. I think I will take the 1 damage here, so that I don't expose my Cavern of Souls to the Wasteland because of this. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Number of YouTube comments Phil received about this specific moment. 9,000. This is playing to your outs, folks. This is figuring out, like, how do I win when the situation looks grim? And this may not even be enough. But I've got a real chance now. I'm very surprised I am not getting wastelanded. Because my opponent values ticking up this blast zone quite highly. Alright. Am I attacking? I might just be attacking. I either trade with 1 or 2 bodies, and then I get to bounce the Batterskull and replay it. I'll take more on the crackback, though. Maybe I'm looking to stall this one out. I will not attack. Okay, like, if I attack in and trade with... Okay, this is just them ticking up blast zone. Anyway, if I attack in and trade with, say, Thought-Knot Seer, my opponent gets to crack me back for 7, so I end up, like, -3 life on that exchange. And if I trade for Matter Reshaper and Eldrazi Mimic, I still end up at -3 life for the exchange. That sucks. Alright, they're tutoring. What are they getting, though? Oh, just straight up going for Mycosynth Lattice. That's not good. Yeah, I think I'm dead to that. This Goblin Rival Master doesn't change anything. Well, I guess that's not 100% true. It's just mostly true. So I'm going to try to attack this Karn, and I'll see what my opponent does. I'm not playing this out pre-combat to get the token, because I want to see if my opponent is going to trade the Thought-Knots here and give me another draw. Alright, but I do get to kill both of those. Goodbye. Oh, an Ayavugan. Alright. So now I will do this post-combat Goblin Rabble Master. And now I do have 2 bodies that could attack a Karn. My opponent also has 2 bodies. Yeah, so there's the lattice, and they can plus on the lattice and animate it, so that they end up with 2 different bodies that can protect their Karn. So I think I'm locked out if they take that line. I think I'm locked out anyway. I can't Solitude anymore to get the Thought-Knot Seer out of the way, right? Yeah, so I can attack Karn for 2. Or rather for 1. Yep, that's not gonna do it. GG's. Got real close in both of those losses. Alright, a 1-lander is not acceptable here. We're gonna mulligan that. Yeah. This is gonna be a keep. I'm gonna throw back the second Chrome Mox here. Now the question is, how do I want to play out this hand? I think this is just a turn 1 Chalice on 1. And then, depending on whether or not I draw a red land, I can make some decisions about what goes on turn 2. Okay, looks like we are probably playing against Death and Taxes. Alright, perfect. I drew the red land, so now I don't need to waste Godo on a Chrome Mox. The bad news here is that Legion Warboss is not super potent against Death and Taxes, because like they just have a bunch of things like Thalia and Stoneforge Mystic that can get in the way. I'm absolutely starting on the back foot here. The good news is my opponent led on a Rishadan port, which may be indicative that they kept an Aether Vial hand that doesn't have true white. Oh, nope, they had Wastelandable white, which is reasonable as well. Yeah, see, this is the thing that sucks about like Legion Warboss type threats. Is now I can attack in for 1 every turn, but Legion Warboss itself can never attack in. Alright, not good for me. It is what it is. Why the fuck are you not blocking? Gonna be one of those D&T games, huh? This is gonna be one of those games where Phil gets angry. Okay, sure. Chalice or Warboss? Warboss. Fine. Okay, it is an attacking Thalia. Fine. My opponent may not know this, but keeping me off of 6 mana is going to be really important. But I am just going to do my turn as quickly as possible and just make it look like I have flooded out after taking a mulligan. And if I make no play on 5 mana, they may value porting me less than expanding their own board. Please don't cast a 1-drop into my Chalice. I will lose it. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is obviously this person's first time playing Death and Taxes. That's okay. That is allowed. That on human. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Godo. Yes, I will use Godo's ability. I think I'll just grab Cauldron and get in there. There's a couple different ways to play that turn. Like I could just take the Helm of the Host and try to go for like infinite combats, but it seems like if my opponent had okay, I shouldn't read too much into my opponent's lines. Okay. Oh no. They just bounced my Godo. I get to do it again. I get to just fish another piece of equipment out of my deck. Alright, what are you doing with your Skyclave? Okay, you're taking out my Chalice. Sure. No attacks. It's fine. Raucous is pretty legit here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and replay Godo. I guess technically I should do post-combat. Grab a Batter Skull. I will leave Thalia in play. And crash in with my pseudo-reality smasher. Opponent just takes the hit here. They presumably have a Swords to Plowshares or Path deck. Oh, it hurts me. Okay. 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 so moving on. I would like basically removal spells. I think I want Deck and Stones, Abrades, and Solitudes. I don't think I'm going to play Null Rod because my own equipment is rather valuable. I will probably play Disenchant, although Disenchant does not beat a Cauldra. It itself is indestructible. So what is coming out? My Chalice of the Voids, I think, are coming out. My Thalias are pretty weak against Caracas. Those should come out as well. That leaves me at 61. And from there, Spirit of the Labyrinth and Goblin Rebelmaster / Legion Warboss are both kind of medium. I'll probably just keep Spirit of the Labyrinth since it's a 2-drop and I'm cutting 8 2-drops essentially. I'm going to be a little slow to get out of the gates. I think I'm going to cut a Goblin Rabblemaster over a Legion Warboss. The 2 cards are very similar. The Goblin Rabblmasters can force Legion Warbosses to attack, which is something I might not want. And if Legion Warboss gets to attack once or twice and make a couple of 2/2s, that's better once the board stabilizes than Goblin Rabblemaster itself. I will be keeping this hand. It has a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, which is something I would want in this matchup, and it alternatively could have turn 2 Magus of the Moon if my opponent doesn't lead on basic lands. Okay. Declaration in Stone is not going to be great against Mother of Runes, so I might find an opportunity to use it. So the next question is, do I want to play around Wasteland, or do I want to better play around Thalia? I think I want to play around Wasteland. Yeah, I think I'll play around Wasteland. And it's obvious I don't have a removal spell now. What do you have for me? Normally I'd say this pause is indicative of like trying to figure out whether they want to, say, port me or play a 2-drop, but I'm not sure exactly what they're going for here. Alright, they are going for a Cauldra of their own, which is going to be very hard for me to beat on the draw. Since they have Mother of Runes. Like, I can try to get my own Cauldra, but I don't know that that will work out for me. I will try. But, like, they have a protected Cauldra and the Cauldra in play first, so life is good for them. Not for me. Yep, there it goes. I will take 5. Okay. They don't have more lands, so there's at least some degree of hope for me. I'm going to make a Stoneforge Mystic. I will use this ability. I'm going to grab a Batterskull. I am going to go ahead and put in said Batterskull, and I am going to try to wiggle myself into a spot where I make my opponent tap that Mother of Runes so that I can use Declaration in Stone. If I can get their Cauldra out of play, I can probably win this one. I was about to say because they're stuck on lands, but they livey. Okay. This could have been done at instant speed. Also, like, my god, if I can make them tap this Mother of Runes and I get both Mother of Runes at the same time, that would be fucking sweet. Okay. I do not believe that I get to make any plays this turn. Or go for Cauldra. Yeah, okay, what if I go for Cauldra? Go for Cauldra, attack in, opponent blocks and protects. Then I deck and stone both Mother of Runes. My opponent will have active Jitte, but I'll have like a Batterskull and a Cauldra that I can re-equip surprisingly soon. Yes. Let's go human. Activate this. It's so hard for me to tell whether or not my opponent is going to like buy into the thing that I am doing, because I think they're very fresh to this deck. But I think this line is the best chance of me winning versus this opponent specifically. Against a more experienced opponent, I would probably just pass the turn and leave up putting in Cauldra as well as bouncing Batterskull. Oh. Okay. Oh. What the fuck? Brain hurts. Like, do I leave up Batterskull Bounce for Jitte, or am I supposed to just, like fucking Declaration in Stone and Mother of Runes, because my opponent won't activate it? I'll leave up Bounce Batterskull. Uh-huh. Are you gonna, like, give pro black now and just, like, totally juke me? Path to Exile. Okay, that's fine. Yes. Probably want the mountain for wasteland-based reasons. Also, like, am I supposed to block? Probably not. Right? Probably not. I'm not actually confident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana available next turn. Guess I just bounce this. This just gets me a second Batterskull. It'll also get me the Helm. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So there's Godo. And I'll pick up a Batterskull. That goes into play. And then I will also have the possibility of putting another Batterskull into play. I'm so curious as to whether or not I could actually straight up just exile these Mother of Runes with Declaration in Stone. I don't think I'm gonna do it, but it is getting more and more tempting. At some point, I do also have the line of bounce Godo and get the Helm of the Host out of my deck. Okay. Yep. Fine. Okay. Put in a Batterskull. I have literally no idea how my opponent is going to react to me blocking. I am going to put a large number of creatures in front of this and see how many Mother of Runes they tap. I'm just going to let them sort it out. There's 2 different color creatures. Okay, there's protection from red. Oh, come on. Protection from black. Yes. I am a bad person. Oh, they didn't pump the Stoneforge Mystic to kill my critters. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Oh, my God. This is one of the most savage fucking beatings I've ever given someone. I'm so sorry if you see this, Gabriel. Okay, yeah. So let's destroy Jitte now, and I'll make my opponent make the choices about what they are going to do with it. I haven't done the math for whether or not my opponent just straight up dies this turn yet. Oh, okay. Like, why? GG's, I guess. Alright. GG's. Okay, let's see. It's round 3 now. I'm going to keep this opening hand. We have turn 2 Goblin Rivalmaster into Winota directly, which is pretty dope. Ooh, that's a combo land. I have good pressure. I don't have something like a Chalice to stop my opponent from comboing off. But if this is something like Doomsday where I get another turn to attack, the Winota turn might just outright kill my opponent. I also have a Magus of the Moon that I could just slam on turn 2 as well. I'm gonna play Plateau. I'm gonna play Plateau and pass. It's possible I should play Arid Message Disguise being a blue deck, but there are worlds where I end up wanting this to be a basic Plains. Plateau represents red elemental blasts for Painter, and that's where my mind would be at if I were the opponent here. And accordingly, if they brainstorm, I will pause for a minute and think about it. Oh, Taiga. Oh shit. We're getting TES'd. Oh no. That is a lot of stuff. Okay. So which thing are you gonna do to me? This 7 total mana. Probably just appear. That is appear. Peer into the abyss that draws half their deck. I should probably concede in response to a discard spell targeting me, because I have very much put up the appearance that I am currently playing Painter, when the reality is very far from that. More mana. Okay. Yes. 4 of a kind. Nice, nice. Kill me? Nope, it's still mana o'clock. Storm is 14. Yes, silence is fine. This is something the TES has started doing now. I assume this is just Burning Wish Tendrils and I'm dead. Yeah, that's the Tendrils. I'll concede to that. Alright. Ah, yes. My good friend Nullrod, we meet again. Do I want anything more than that? Braids medium, Boils medium, Disenchants medium, Rest in Pieces medium. What do I need to take out of my deck? Probably Host of the Helm. Two Nullrods are coming in. Yeah, I'm looking to play like Nullrod, Thalia, Spirit of the Labyrinth, Archon, Magus on turn 1 or 2. I have and Chalice as well. I have a decent number of good plays. Maybe go down like one Godo or something like that. I'm not sure how some of these secondary things are against this deck. Ooh. How many lands do I have? How good is this hand? 18. 22 mana sources remaining in the deck. Well, I'm not 50% to hit a land drop. I think I'm mulligan this one. It's a very good hand if I hit one land, like basically optimal, but I think I can do better. This I will be keeping. And I'll throw back a War Boss here. Chalice on 1, Chalice on 0. I think Chalice on 0. Let's flip that out there on 0. It really decreases the chances that my opponent can go off, and then I get Archon on turn 2, followed by a lot of other goodies afterwards. Alright. Do you have a follow-up? Okay. And this was a rare time where Underground Sea... Excuse me. Where Underground Sea did not indicate Doomsday on turn 1. Okay, no shuffle there. Alright. It is Archon time, which is a very crippling early play. In addition to just stopping my opponent from like going through multiple cantrips or rituals in a turn, this also just makes things like fetch lands enter play tapped. Yep. Oh. Yeah, that was nice, but there's this. I think this is a Spirit of the Labyrinth turn. Although honestly, I couldn't go all that wrong by playing any of the cards in my hand. They're all quite good. But Archon is not Aethersworn Canonist, so I don't get both of these here. Alright, so it's Spirit of the Labyrinth time then as the follow-up. Okay. Yep, that's a good time to fire that off. Though they're not getting the perfect brainstorm of the shuffle. They're potentially going to brainstorm lock themselves, because if they play a fetch, it enters tapped as well. Sort of wonder if this is a deck that wants like Mindbreak Traps in the sideboard, because I have a decent number of 2 to 3 mana plays that are pretty good against combo decks, but I'm kind of pants down on turn 1 against these sorts of decks, and kind of turn 2 when I'm on the draw. And then I don't gain the ability to cast any more spells because Archon. I'm gonna murder pretty fast though. I don't think it will be too much of a problem. Big question will be like Nullrod versus Goblin Rabblemaster. Ooh, there's something else. I don't know what this is going to be with my opponent tapping blue-red. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. So this is going to be a Wishclaw Talisman that's played out. Get Nullrodded, nerd! Alright, so there's 5, putting my opponent to 12. And then we hit him with the Nullrod, which is rather savage here. Like, not only is that stopping the tutor, but it also costs my opponent a turn worth of mana. That's tough. What do you have to Burning Wish for? Massacre does not kill Archon, notably. It will kill Spirit of the Labyrinth. Alright. Let's hit for 5 here. Put my opponent to 7. I am then going to cast a Stoneforge Mystic. I don't care if this gets eaten by the Massacre. I'm going to force my opponent to cast the Massacre or die. And if they cast the Massacre, then they can't cast another spell this turn. And I'm good in that regard. Yep, alright, good stuff. So now I will get my Rabble on. Are you just going to see a Brainstorm in response? Yeah, okay, that's fine. I hit for 3 this turn, and then I kill my opponent next turn. Yep, good stuff. Okay, do I want to change anything? Like, again, I could consider a Braid, but I think that's pretty medium. Golos is also a little medium, though, admittedly. Or sorry, not Golos, Godo. I don't mind leaving one in the deck as a hit for Winota. It also just clocks really hard, since it can fetch Cauldra if I do get to enough mana to cast it. Yeah, I think I'm going to board like this and just hope to have a turn 1 play. 2 Null Rods. I think I need to take a quick look at Bryant Cook's list from this weekend to see if my opponent has like a Pulverize. Because if he's playing Pulverize right now, then 2 Null Rods could be taken out by the same hand. Or not the same hand, the same card. No, it's Prismatic Endings. Okay. Am I willing to keep the double Null Rod hand that is very good with any mana source drawn? I think I am. I just have like the guaranteed turn 1 play even through a discard spell. I think I value that highly enough. Okay. Give him the rod. Alright. So now I have a whole bunch of hateful shit. See what I can do with it. I will need mana, but a Null Rod should buy me a good amount of time. Should being the optative word, of course. Alright. Brainstorm away. You missed your land drop last turn. I think I probably win this game if I top deck a white source in this turn cycle. Okay, there's a fetch. Okay, or we can not. We've missed on 3 in a row. Upkeep fetch. Upkeep fetch. I think I'm on 24 hits for a land. This is a prismatic ending then, I'm guessing. Yep, that's fine. Like, there's still another one. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I knew this thing could happen keeping this hand, but the hand was really strong. Actually, it's not 24 hits for colored mana, because there's 3 other colorless lands, I believe. 21 hits. I am also starting to get to the point where I could just lose to a natural storm or something. Okay. Not so much with the lucky here. Okay. Sure. And this is turn 6 and I haven't drawn the second land yet. That is what it is. I will probably just die to something or other here. Like just Burning Wish, Triple Crack, LEDs, Pier is probably good enough. Okay, it looks like that is what we're going to see. Yep. Okay, I mean, GG's. I don't regret keeping the hand. It didn't work out, but like Null Rod is one of my best cards in the matchup very easily, and had very powerful options. We'll let my opponent play a couple cards though. Yup. The opponent doing the combo turn is always like kind of an awkward thing when I'm commentating, because I'm just like waiting for my demise, and I'm trying to say enough things so that everything they say is caught on camera, but trying not to avoid awkward pauses either. Kill me. No, don't brainstorm, just get me dead. Don't give me hope. Okay, more Rite of Flame. Guess I should probably pop this out. Yes. Okay. The fizzle rate once you've peered is extremely low. Bryant has numbers on them. I don't remember exactly what they are, but it's very, very, very low. Like, has happened, you know, single digit number of times or something like that. Although this may be the time. This is digging. That's no shuffle though. End me, Shade Scorpion. Okay, more Chrome Mox. Bit of silence. Got the prismatic ending under there. Okay, Tendrils kills me here. Oh, it's a Grape Shot. Grape Shot also kills me though. I'm at 16. All right, GG's. Okay, I will be keeping this opening hand. I'm gonna have to think a little bit about how I want to play it in terms of sequencing. What are my creature types here? Human Barbarian, Human Warrior. I probably want to play the Cavern of Souls on Human. Probably imprinting this Godo. Actually, I imprint the Godo. That makes me less likely to want to put it on Human. I could just put it on Spirit, but that doesn't work for Winota mana. Let's just play out a Spirit in a Force of Willable way. See what my opponent's on. Oh, rough. That's no shuffle, but probably not what they want. I'm gonna play Counterable Legion War Boss so that I can do Winota uncounterably next turn. So let's fetch a plateau. It seems like my opponent is F6'd as well. That was very fast. Yep. Send him in for 4. See if this game is over or if my opponent randomly like finds Terminus in their top couple cards. That would suck. Badlands. That is surprising. Oh, so we're doing this again. That's okay. We will have our revenge. Human warrior. He's human. White, red, 2 other colors. Always yield to that. I will send them all in. Let's resolve this mentor trigger first. Or put it on the stack first. Okay, let's put a Thalia into play first. And I will put a Magus of the Moon into play. Then I will put a new attacking Winota into play. I will not put the other... Actually, I will put the other Winota into play. I don't want another. Keep that one. Yeah, okay. Good stuff. Alright, so I think we'll just board in the Null Rods again. I'll board out 1 Godo and the Helm, I think is what I did before. And we'll just run that same plan back. Hopefully not just trip over ourselves this time. Oh, baby. Daddy likes. The big question will be, like, what do I do on turn 1? Like, how do I play out that turn? I think it's going to be Chalice on 0 plus Null Rod, and just, like, have 2 separate things in play that are fuck you to artifacts, so that I can play Spirit of the Labyrinth on turn 2. But there's a real argument to just, like, try to lock out cantrips as well. We'll kind of see how many mulligans my opponent takes and what they do on turn 1. I may not get a choice. Actually, they're not so much on the discard anymore, are they? Sure, those are old TES play patterns at this point. Okay, my opponent kept on 6. Alright. Oh? Oh, are you going now? That's no fair. Oh, if that's it, that's no big deal. 4 or 5 mana. Wishclaw with 3 left over. No, sorry, 1 to activate. They can Wishclaw with 4 left over. Okay. Yes. I confused? Oh, okay, sure. Is this the best you could have done with those resources, though? Like, I'm skeptical. Yeah, like I get another turn here. I don't have a great turn 2 play currently. I might be able to produce one. This Chalice is not the most excellent play in the world. Is this sorcery speed only? Activate only during your turn. I don't think I want to give this back to my opponent. I have a very good turn 3 play in Archon. I also have some pretty good plays if I draw a Soul Land, because then I can activate Wishclaw Talisman and get a Null Rod. Oh, okay, they're going again. Okay, sure, 5 mana. 6 mana? Nope. Okay. Hopefully that was just building Storm Count. They didn't float with Mox Opal, so I think that was just building Storm Count. We're just gonna see an empty? Like, what are we doing? Okay, so it's gonna be a Pier. That's not guaranteed to kill me with a Chalice in play, though. Yeah. Oh, my opponent has 2 mana to work with, and they've made their land drop already. Okay. Another Dark Ritual? Yep. Colors of mana may also end up being limiting. Okay, sure. They've got black, but they don't have red for, like, say, a Burning Wish into a Grape Shot or something like that. Okay. That helps. Now they have 2 red. And a Tendrils should kill me there. Yep, okay. Alright. GG. I will not be making any adjustments in sideboarding. This is fine. The one on the play should be significantly easier. Chalice on 0 into Thalia? Yeah, that's fine. For Massacre specifically, I guess I should start by playing Caracas rather than Plateau. Actually, that's not true for some other reasons. if I were to draw a soul land and my Thalia were to be taken by discard or something like that, I could play a Rabble Master on 2 if I do this the other way. Again, I think most current builds of TES are off discard, but it's the sort of thing worth mentioning. Okay, got the C into a cantrip. Chalice plus Thalia is also a heck of a squeeze, just in terms of my opponent's resources. Thalia becomes stronger without artifact mana being in the picture. The Thalia makes it easier for me to protect this Chalice. And now I just need to draw a land, which was a struggle last time we played against TES, but I think if I get my next mana source, it's probably GG. This Magus should just instantly end things on the spot without artifact mana being in the picture yet. Alright, Prismatic Ending eats my Thalia. That's fine. Nice. Presumably GG? Not literally, but it's real rough. Yep, that's what I thought. GG's. We're now 2-2? Yeah, we're now 2-2. Let's see if we can you know, get to the brew trophy of a 3-2 and come out ahead. Alright, we are playing against a Yorion deck. We have no lands. It's an automatic mulligan. We have no lands again. It's an automatic mulligan. This is going to be a keep. How do I want to play this? I can do turn 2 uncounterable Magus of the Moon, in which case I don't have time to fetch white. Or I can do turn 2 counterable Magus of the Moon, in which case I still don't have time to fetch white. Okay, the Archon is going back. And I guess an Arid Mesa goes back. We'll keep the Godo around as, like, the end game. Alright, we'll disguise ourselves and make myself not vulnerable to a Wasteland by playing Arid Mesa and passing. But we're really hoping to mise a win here with Magus of the Moon. My opponent is Death and Taxes. That's pretty unlikely. They're a Yorion control deck. There's a chance. Oh. Okay. Yorion Affinity? Yorion Affinity. Okay. Oh, what a lucky draw. Totally happy with that. Plateau, Ancient Tomb, Magus, which unfortunately probably does not, like, just instantly win this game on the spot, because my opponent has a Mox Opal and they'll still be able to cast their cards through that. It in fact slows me down because I'm 1 mana further away from casting Godo than I was at the beginning of the turn. Daggers. Okay. We'll start thinking about game 2 now. Oh, well, that's fine. I'm good with that. You're actively good for me. I'll get my hit in for 2. Feel like my opponent's pretty favored in this position. Just in terms of the long game, like having the Yorion, that's going to be better than my creatures. But we'll see. The Thought Casts and Thought Monitors are going to start coming down. Or Urza's. Yeah. Life is bad. Life is real bad. We had the double mulligan into like a Magus of the Mood gambit that did not pay off. Hey, Livy. I get no attacks for the foreseeable future, which sucks. Play a Chalice for 2. Play a Chalice for 0. Probably can't play a Chalice for 2 because I have Stoneforges. That would be very good. Cast a Chalice for 0. And I will pay for this tax. The old 2 mana Chalice for 0. We're all familiar with it. For sideboarding. Null Rods, Abrades, Deccan Stones, and Disenchants and Solitudes. Yeah, we can put up a good fight in this matchup in post sideboard games. Ooh, my opponent has Wasteland. What the hell is this shit? Oh, is it just Urza? 6 mana. 7 mana? The fuck? Oh, 6 mana. A Walking Ballista? Fuck me. Yeah. I don't even think you need to kill the Magus of the Moon. Need to get to Godo mana. Do I block? Do I block, hope to spike a land, and put a Cauldron into play before my opponent wastelands me? That is probably a reasonable path to victory. I think I concede if I don't draw the land for Godo. Oh, there's more. Okay, redundant Chalice on 1. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the towel here. I could struggle a bit more, but like with that construct and the Walking Ballista and Yorion threatening to make another construct, I don't think I'm getting through that. Let's go to the post sideboard games where I should be in really good shape. I have 11 cards that I could bring in. So let's figure out what I don't want. I don't want the chalices. Okay, I don't want chalices in this pile. I don't want chalices. Magus of the Moon probably doesn't do what I want it to do in this matchup. It's a human that I can hit off of Winota. That's about it. How many more things do I have to cut? That's only 4, right? Oh no, I cut the Maguses too. So potentially 4 more cuts if I want to board all of this. I could choose to not deck in stone. If I don't deck in stone, I could just do something like trim a Thalia and then call that good. Or alternatively, I can trim all the Thalias and be kind of light on humans for Winota, but be very answer dense. If I'm answer dense, will my equipment package eventually take over the game? Probably. Let's keep some amount of humans though. Like I do want to be hitting off of Winota a good portion of the time, and I already boarded out 3 Magus. This is a hand that has a turn 2 Stoneforge for Aldra, and then puts it into play on turn 3. This is probably fine. It's not super exciting, and I kind of wish I had more mana, but it's not the end of the world. Like this hand has high enough card quality that it probably doesn't go back, despite the fact that it's not perfect. Like I don't have the 3rd mana to cast these things, but that's kind of whatever. I am sort of feeling like I wish I had Lotus Petal in some cases. Or Chrome Mox. Or no, I already have Chrome Mox, right? Like I feel like I want just a little bit more mana than what I have access to. Okay. Did I show them anything last game? Okay. We'll talk about that in therapy later. Let's fetch. I think I'll be getting a basic since my opponent showed me a wasteland previously. And let's grab the Stoneforge. I think that's better than just playing out the Thalia immediately. I don't think that's something I need to do. I'm just going to put my opponent to the removal test, or otherwise I have a Cauldra. And I think it's probably good to put the 80 card Yorion deck to the test. Sure. Okay, got a Ravager. That's fine. Oh yeah, that's good with me. Sure. Okay, yeah, that's all fine. A little annoying for me because my opponent can increase their artifact count. Oh. I think I am still supposed to Cauldra and then play Null Rod as the follow-up. But the Null Rod is really tempting. In we go with the 5/5. My opponent goes to 15. Cauldra is just an absolute beating in a lot of like fair matchups, especially like the creature mirrors are close to creature mirrors. Okay. Memory for a Lotus Petal, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Ballista is fine. Yep, I will take that damage. God, that Null Rod got really awkward. I think I basically just have to be good with it. Alright. Bash in with Cauldra. My opponent goes to 10. 2 more Cauldra attacks kills them. I think I will Null Rod and then Abrade. I don't want to give up 3 cards to destroy 1, like, construct token. I don't think that's super good. I wonder if my opponent's thinking about, like, doing the laser thing via Walking Ballista. I don't think that makes a lot of sense, because, like, this construct is going to represent a good amount of damage. Okay, so they're just going to move those counters to the Walking Ballista then. Oh, they move it to the construct. Okay. I am unsure what exactly the plan there is. So my opponent will go down to 6 here after they make that other construct. Okay, they're just getting an artifact that doesn't actually produce mana because of Null Rod. Okay, that's targeting the Lotus Petal, so that can grow these constructs again. Stoneforge Mystic will happily give its life for 7, life. Okay, that's just another artifact. Ooh, that's very good. So we'll just start by attacking in with the Cauldra. End it. Notably, this has Trample. This is going to come up in a second in all likelihood. Oh, it doesn't come up. Opponent is just going to take it and go do 1. 8, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, they're still not there. While my opponent has exactly one card in hand, I should probably just blow up their bigger construct. To play around a Force of Will effect? I don't know, I don't think they have Force of Will effects, in which case I should just pass the turn and then abrade the bigger one in combat after they've already committed more bodies. This also may be a time where I want to Chrome Mox a Legion Warboss and a Thalia. In case the Null Rod is removed, then I can kill a second thing. I'm not going to do that. No, I am going to do that. I'll imprint a Thalia and a Legion Warboss. That should have pretty much all of my bases covered in case multiple things end up happening. Yeah, sure. You can get your paddle back. That is exactly 17 incoming damage. Requires the all-out attack. I will go ahead and destroy target artifact on this one. Yep, okay, good stuff. Deck felt pretty good there. Do I want Declaration in Stone on the draw? I was right in that, like, a Cauldron that hits play will just dominate combat. I could go down on Thalia's. Thalia's kind of whatever. How does my creature count look if I do this? Kind of low. Not unacceptably low, but kind of low. Man, I almost feel like this deck needs more mana sources. I've had to mulligan quite a few hands just due to not having enough mana. Like, this one technically has... Well... Bad is this hand, really? It is turn 1 Stoneforge Mystic. It has a Null Rod as a follow-up later, although I can't play it immediately until this Cauldron is in play. It also has Disenchant. Okay, you know what? YOLO. I've talked myself into this one. I just put the Godo under the Chrome Mox. It kind of fucked by a Chalice on 0. I have exactly 4 0 drops in the deck. My opponent did play a Chalice on 0 last game. So like... Yeah, we'll see. Okay, Island. Retrofitter Foundry, sure. Okay, another land is great. I'll go land, Chrome Mox. I'll imprint the 6-drop here. Godo. Turn 1 Stoneforge. Yes, Cauldron. Good stuff. And I'm just going to get that swinging from turn 2. And then I have two different valuable plays afterwards. Although if my opponent plays Urza Saga, I might just disenchant it. Just straight up, not fuck around with those constructs. We've got more. Okay, a Chalice on 1 now. Ooh, a Braid as well. Yeah, I think I want to... I think I want to disenchant that land. Not fuck around with the construct. My opponent can play with Retrofitter Foundry. I don't care about that. Get it? And I'll send in a Stoneforge for 1. It's not the 5 damage I was expecting this turn, but like my opponent is down to 2 cards in hand. This should be an acceptable calculated risk. Fuck, come on. That's rude. This is very good as well. Now the next question becomes, like, do they actually have another land beyond this? Like, should I Null Rod this turn? I think I do not Null Rod this turn. I think I just get the Cauldron swinging. In you go. Put my opponent to 14. They get a Thopter. And then between, like, Null Rod, Abrade, and Winota, I probably pull pretty far ahead. I'll kind of have to figure out, like, how I want to sequence the turn. A lot of mana. Oh, and Urza? Urza's pretty good. But again, opponent... Ooh. Opponent's life total is 12, and Cauldron is really damn hard to stop. The Null Rod is considerably worse now because of Urza. I think my own mana might be more valuable than a lot of the things my opponent has going on accordingly. But again, it's close. I think I'm probably going to end up destroying this construct after blocks. Send it. Oh, no blocks. Sure. Okay. So I will still probably want to abrade one of the 2 constructs that my opponent is going to have. Although I could just play an Archon. Easier to get lethal next turn if I play an Archon. Because if one thing blocks Cauldron and then I abrade it, I will have 7 damage. Well, my opponent could get a flying blocker this way. Yeah, I think it's okay to do this. So now my opponent will tap 2 of their artifacts for mana and make Urza Saga that way. Or the construct token that way. Yep. Notably, if my opponent had done this in in response to Archon, they could have also made a servo. Okay, they're getting a Thopter instead. That's fine. I thought they were going to go wide instead, but that was not the case. All right, what will you have? They didn't have anything flashy to get last time around. Oh, well, that's good. They didn't show me that last game, so I didn't play around it. That's a pain in the ass. I have to go defensively. Why is the flying one attacking? That does not make any sense. And if this is a trap, fine. Like, so be it. Okay. I'd like to draw a mana source here. Sure. That life swing's rough. Didn't really think they had Shadow Spear, because, like, Shadow Spear sitting on board would have been better than, like, the random mana source they got last game. I don't know, maybe it was a board in, board out sort of situation. Alright, and that's a Yorion going to hand. Okay. So the question now becomes, like, how much do I believe in this Winota? Just instantly swinging the game on its own. I can abrade the big construct and then Null Rod afterwards so Shadow Spear can't be equipped. I can try to fight a defensive war, but I think I'm losing that defensive war. But I don't think I can get lethal through 2 blockers like that this turn, so I'm not sure that I have much of a choice. This probably needs to pick Warrior. These are both Warriors, right? Yeah. Alright. I hate that I have to do this abrade now. Let's destroy this construct. And play the Null Rod. Oh, fuck. My own Archon. Shit. Oh, that's bad. It sucks, because like if I had thought of my thing, I couldn't play both of those cards in a turn cycle because it's like Null Rod needs to be played at sorcery speed, but then it shuts off my Chrome Mox. Yeah, I think I'm dead here. I'll see if my opponent punts or anything, but I think short of my opponent punting, I'm not winning this one now. I think the play that turn was Winota and pray that something crazy happened. Yeah. Okay, sure. That enters tapped, which is nice for me. That is not so much nice for me. That's a flyer that can do gross things after I end up losing this Archon, which probably happens this turn. Yeah. So this one goes here. And this one has to go here. And then I end up taking 5. Oh. Okay, sure. You can have your servo. Alright, I get rid of that. I go to 5. And my opponent is still wide of me by a pretty good margin. Jeez, the Null Rod Abrade thing has happened a second time in a single game. The Archon's gone now, I guess. I braid the big construct. I play Null Rod. I block this. I take 4. Alright, I guess I'm still technically alive. It's a bit of a shit show, though. Like, I am very much on the wrong side of the equation here. My opponent can also just attack for 2 and then lethal in the air with Yorion. Oh. You have 3 mana. You can untap a Retrofitter Foundry. Oh no, I miscounted. You have 4 mana, so you can untap and then turn this. Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, so they have lethal in 2 turns in the air then. In a different way. And I guess I have to top deck a land in Winota? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't know. I did not expect to lose this game after, like, my opponent had 2 cards in hand and I disenchanted that first Urza Saga. But having the second and then Urza as a follow-up was just absolutely brutal. I really just, like, did not have enough mana to like, deploy all my cards. Okay, yeah, there's 3 in the air. So I think I'm donezo. I don't think I can do 12 damage through 3 blockers with only 3 attackers. I just don't think that's happening. You have Yorion as well. Yorion for Thought Monitor and Urza here. Yeah, that's GG. Yup. This also just untaps some other bodies as well, making it even less likely that I can actually win through this. Draw all your cards. Okay, I will go ahead and concede there. GG's. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Cool idea. I don't think there's enough mana sources in the deck. I got stuck on mana a bunch of different games, and I mulliganed a bunch of different hands just because I physically did not have enough mana to do the things that I needed to do. So that would probably be my starting point, is add a couple of mana sources of some kind to this deck. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like Lotus Petals or Spirit Guides or just a couple more lands, but I want more persistent mana sources. Especially since I'm looking to get to 4 for Winota, and sometimes when things go wrong, I also want to get to 6 for Godo or 5 for re-equipping Batterskull. I think I just need a little bit more mana than what's actually in this deck. As far as the sideboard goes, I wish I didn't have the boils. I was kind of on the fence about that going into the deck tech. I wish this was something more generic just for slower or grindy matchups. I'm not sure if I can get away with Court of Grace. Is Court of Grace 2 white or 1 white? If Court of Grace is 1 white, I think that's a good fit. Otherwise, I want some maybe 4-ish mana Haymaker of some kind for more generic fair matchups than just the blue. I also wonder if we should have a little bit more anti-combo hate in the sideboard, whether there should be something like a Mind Break trap here, or like Lotus Petals to go faster if they're not in the main deck. Because I did feel a little naked against TES other than the Null Rods, which were good, although we did see the whole like Chrome Mox awkwardness thing pop up with the Null Rods. That doesn't necessarily mean the card doesn't fit in the shell, it's just something to keep aware of during deck building. I bet you could get away with pulling a Declaration in Stone out of this deck for at least one other anti-combo card. And I don't think it's crazy to consider something like Deafening Silence either. But maybe a Thorn of Amethyst or equivalent ends up being better since it's castable off Ancient Tomb. And you do have a decent number of lands that wouldn't produce true white. Yeah, maybe something like a Thorn of Amethyst is really what you're looking for. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed playing this one quite a bit. If you enjoyed, please click the like button. Helps me out a lot. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. And if you want to see one of your own decks on the stream or you want to try this out, check that out in the video description. Have a great rest of the day. See ya.